What's going on, everybody? It's Frito here for Your Overwatch. Huge news roundup for you today. Kicking it off, if you are already a Nintendo Switch Online member, you can get a free version of Overwatch for next week, starting on the Tuesday, October 13th through the 20th. The Switch version of Overwatch has gone through a lot of optimization patches. Rocky at launch, but I actually would recommend it for a fun, different way to play the game. I'm top 500 on all three roles on the Switch. The player population is definitely lower, so for good queue times, you have to play during peak times, but the experience itself, in terms of the game performance, is stable, though not stellar, because it is just the Switch, after all. Aiming is a lot harder because you are locked at 30 FPS, so the meta strays a bit away from mechanics and a bit more towards the strategy of the game, unless you are a gyro controls master, then you can click all the heads, but it's actually one of my preferred ways to play the game. It's a more chilled experience, so I suggest you try it out. Hit us up on Twitter at YourOverwatchYT and let me know what you think. Next up in the news, I was surprised to see an official Overwatch League head coach post to Reddit a very long 10-point post on things that Blizzard should change in order to save Overwatch League, as well as the game itself. The reason I'm surprised at this is because, well, I'm sure the Overwatch League isn't happy about this level of depth of public criticism, as they're supposed to be using their internal channels, but Selfless Brad, who has been in esports for a long time, dating back to CSGO and even early Overwatch esports before the Overwatch League, went big with this post to detail 10 major improvements that could be made to improve the game and the esport. He wrote a lot here, so I'm going to summarize the main gist of his points, then give my take on it. Point number one is they need more developers. Old school Blizzard was a bit more about small teams with a emphasis on creative vision rather than manpower, but that makes it difficult to compete up against other titles, most notably Fortnite, which I think has every developer in the world working for them, and even other Activision properties like Call of Duty, which pump out content year after year with multiple teams. I'm fairly certain that Team 4 has expanded quite a bit, but perhaps not enough or to the scale that Selfless Brad or Sephi would prefer. Point number two is that Overwatch needs to go to the free-to-play model for the simple reason that more players improves matchmaking, as well as improves the interest of the game as a whole. He says there's no point in clinging to an outdated business model that only hurts the size of the player base, and a free-to-play model would signal trust and confidence in the long-term prospects for Overwatch as an IP, and anything else will look like a death knell cash grab that could send sponsors and team owners running for the exit. Pretty harsh. Point number three is the homestand model needs to be scrapped for studio/online and live tournaments, stating that if rumors are true, homestand events have not been profitable so far, even when they were selling out. And it's only going to get worse once you get past the initial wave of fans who make the extra effort to attend each team's premier event. He doesn't state explicitly here, but in comparison, the Call of Duty League has a tournament format rather than a weekly league play format, which largely the Overwatch League has already switched to, but based on what he's saying here, he's stating publicly that they need to completely abandon the weekly scheduled style of Overwatch League where a lot of the games actually don't matter. Whereas in the tournament format, there's tension and the better teams play more and get farther, which is how esports has always worked for years and years. And I tend to agree with him, interest on local teams isn't big enough to watch bad teams play over and over again. It's just not at that scale yet. I'm going to breeze past points 4 through 8 as they're very specific to how the Overwatch League operates, wanting shorter off seasons, more ways for the regions to play, more group play in the playoffs, again, similar to the tournament formats that we have in other esports, improve the YouTube deal. But point 9, I thought you guys would definitely relate to. He says, stop chasing the unicorn of perfect balance, saying that structured meta changes is greater than the pursuit of perfect balance. Saying that he doesn't want hero pools, that was way too chaotic, and overbalance could be too chaotic also, saying that he wants is meta diversity that is stable enough for everyone to keep their sanity and find common ground quickly during hero selection, but varied enough over time for everyone to stay engaged over months or years of playing the game. If you've watched this channel enough, you may know my answer to this. I think using tuning knobs in balance to try to create this effect instead of a format change, like limitations on how you select heroes, either per map, per side, map to map in the Overwatch League, whatever system you want to come up with, is a far better way than tuning the knobs of balance for everyone. The reason why I say this is because no matter what the balance state is, the pros will break it, because how they play the game already breaks it. In ranked, we play a best of one format with random teammates. Pros have pre-made teams that play series and can sub players in and out, learning and adapting along the way, having drilled in practice strategies beforehand going into the match. So no matter what the balance is, those two ways of playing the game are just far too different for balance to fit for both. So instead, you should apply format restrictions to the pros so that their gameplay can appeal to the average player. Because as much as I love the current state of the balance, it's great for ranked with randoms, as I explained in my Blizzard Finally Fixed Overwatch video yesterday, but even that is going to look stale in the hands of pro players without restrictions. What I don't want to see is the game go on another merry-go-round of buffs and nerfs for the next 2 years, power creeping this and destroying that. We've been down that road. We've tried everything except the thing that I've been asking for forever. So hopefully with Overwatch 2 at least, Blizzard seriously looks at the competitive structure of the game in order to promote meta diversity rather than the balance merry-go-round. And his last point 10 I thought was interesting, asking them to loosen the grip of artistic control and partner with outside music artists like Riot do. League of Legends K-pop KDA Pop Stars music video has over 300 million views. I definitely agree with this, but we also know that Blizzard has been in the works with lots of other expansion with the IP, but who knows if any of it will come to fruition. There's the things we know about, the new comics, books, and the like, rumors of a Netflix show, which seems to only make sense. More things like this would help as well. Overall, I think Selfless Brad, aka Sephi, makes good points here. Possibly the biggest one being that they just need more developers to push out more content and fix problems as they cause them, which is what they couldn't do as they added content to the first content cycle of Overwatch 1. Hopefully, Overwatch 2 is slightly different in that regard. Because remember, we think that beta might be as early as February for BlizzCon Online. That's just a few months away. Blink and you miss it. We're going to be in that next generation of the game very soon. But moving on, finishing off the Overwatch League news now. The Overwatch League commissioner recently stepped down, though who knows what he's even been responsible for, as John Spector has taken up the mantle as being the face of the Overwatch League for as far as I can remember in Season 3. So maybe this just sort of signals a change away from some of the ideas that were heavily criticized by the max exodus of Overwatch League talent after the end of Season 2. MonteCristo seems to be pointing towards the commissioner leaving the Overwatch League, as it's those creative differences were part of the reason why he ended up leaving the league before the season, saying in this tweet, esports has a long way to go in order to fix some of the issues created by hiring apathetic outsiders. But it's like I say, you have to unload the car one clown at a time. Spicy. Though the league has had quite a bit of criticism publicly, they have adapted to make the best of the current state of the world and set up a very quality grand finals format, which will begin tomorrow, 6 a.m. for me. I ain't waking up for that, sorry. But there will be a double elimination bracket for these top 4 teams, which I think will probably produce the best grand finals weekend we've ever had. You can check the website or app for when it'll be live in your area. Keep in mind, you can watch live in order to gain up Overwatch League tokens to earn some of those cool skins, particularly the all-star ones. My bet is that the San Francisco Shock take it all. Reasons being, I think they have the strongest tank line in the top 4, but perhaps more importantly, the best coaching staff. I've seen Coach Krusty adapt this team to any weakness, and anytime they falter, thanks to the double elimination system, I expect them to go out to one of these teams, come back stronger, and end up winning the whole thing. Second best team being the Shanghai Dragons, who are very similar in power level, perhaps plus or minus a few positions. Keep in mind that the playoffs are on the Gigahawk patch, which includes a lot of the power creep that has been nerfed out in the past few, which can lead to some very explosive playmaking. So regardless of what comps get run, we certainly have some entertaining games ahead of us. Next up in the news, it was found on Amazon that an Overwatch novel, including Ashe and McCree, will be coming in June 2021. It'll be written by Lindsay Ellie, and it'll be about the Deadlock gang's origins as Ashe teams up with her Omnic butler Bob and local ruffian Jesse McCree, catapulting the trio into a game of fast money and dangerous alliances. I've really enjoyed a lot of the new fiction that Overwatch has been pumping out once they hired a lot of new authors. I haven't read the first Overwatch book yet, The Hero of Numbani, but reporting on this story has reminded me to put it in my Amazon cart for Prime Day. Last up, cool community news. We're gonna do a quick rapid fire Overwatch cookbook post. RatGut96 shares their creations going through the cookbook. We got Jesse McCrees Carne Adovada, Reaper's Chili Con Queso, Diva's Bunny Hop Punch, and Lucio's Limonada. Maybe it's just me that finds these adorable, but seeing them shared saves me from having to do the work to see them myself. And last up, something I think you're gonna like. This is a Carrie Underwood Before He Cheats parody that has under 500 views at the time of me recording this, and I think when you'll hear it, you'll agree that it's being criminally underviewed. Really, really good. I think it fits the character perfectly. Maybe I'm biased because I actually like this song, but I'll let it play us out. If you want to check out the song and anything else we discussed today, check out the links in the description for our sources. Don't forget to subscribe and click the bell icon so that you actually get notified when our next video comes out. That's been it for me. I've been Frito for Your Overwatch. We'll see you guys next time.